Tonight, we are in the wasteland. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, the VR demo, was one of the darlings of E3, so as a result, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil Extinction right now.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movie. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's video game movie anatomy.
Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Video Game Movie Anatomy right here on the Popcorn Talk Network. I'm one of your hosts, and it's Mark Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. We got the full squad here.
Yeah,
joined as always by the wonderful Miss Stacey Shuttleworth.
I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Stacey Shuttles, and on Twitter and everywhere else on the web as Nerds Doing Stuff, where I'm a nerd doing stuff.
And the wayward soul.
I'm back.
That is Patrick Dees.
Like Hideo Kojima. I'm back. What is up? You can find me on Twitter at P to the D's. I'm also on iTunes. I host a show called Pixel by Pixel, but we're not here to talk about that. Talking about Resident Evil.
We got important things to talk
I know.
about.
Unfortunately, we're talking about Resident Evil Extinction.
There's the qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Russell Mulcahy. Screen Gems was a distributor.
Yeah.
Find that a little ironic.
Yeah.
What a gem.
Yeah.
So here on Video
word
Game
for
Movie
it.
Anatomy, we dissect the film adaptations of some of our favorite pieces of interactive media. For some reason, Resident Evil keeps coming out with remakes, or like Raccoon City or Operation Raccoon City is coming. No,
Just came out.
that one's already out, but there's a new one that's just like a multiplayer shooter that's really silly.
Yeah, that just came out.
It
it's
just
real,
came out.
real bad.
It's real bad.
I think it's got like a 4 on Metacritic.
It got delayed.
Man.
Wow.
And
reveal.
then came out a month later. Still bad. I think what they planned it, because the Resident Evil 7 demo came out and debuted at the Sony press conference, and then they went, let's just wait until everybody really wants to play a new Resident Evil game, so that they'll buy the bad one.
That brand's hot. It's
People are desperate enough.
So, like,
They'll
but
take
what was your reaction at the Sony conference? Like, you saw this Resident Evil. Like, were you surprised there was a 7 attached to it? And, like, what did you think when you saw it?
It was terrifying.
All right.
I mean, it looked cool.
Yeah, right? I agree.
It looked cool.
They learned from PT. PT became the new standard bearer for horror games, and they added the VR element, which looks interesting, something I'm never gonna touch.
We exchanged Twitter messages about this, like a whole lot of nope.
Yeah. Every nope that could be. How do you say nope in every language? That's me.
How I feel.
That's how we feel here at Video Game Movie Anatomy. But it was a wonderful reveal.
It was.
I like how they're bringing Biohazard into it, so this could serve as a reboot. So now we're going to have a Resident Evil franchise called Biohazard in the States.
Right.
So now everybody's sharing the same franchise. It's cool. It's great. Unfortunately, this isn't even the last Resident Evil movie.
There's so many more to go through.
So, because
despite that name, it's Extinction.
Extinction.
It's straight up supposed to be dead.
And even the next one, Afterlife, is like, we know it's dead.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Apparently not.
You can't kill us.
You can't kill us. You
won't
can't
stay
kill
dead.
Alice.
Kill me.
You can't kill Kmart. We'll get to her. So here's this one. Resident Evil Extinction. The survivors of the Raccoon City catastrophe travel across the Nevada desert, hoping to make it to Alaska. Alice joins the caravan in their fight against the evil Umbrella Corps.
Yeah.
Sure.
We learned a lot about Umbrella Corps.
Really did.
A lot.
When was it stated that this was Nevada? When they said Vegas?
I think when they headed there. Otherwise, I thought everything was a
Vegas.
desert wasteland.
I think they said, like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember the Salt Lake sign coming into Nevada.
That's right.
We
That's
did
like,
read
yeah,
that.
that's all I remember. I don't know. Man, and they dramatically undersold. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But we dramatically undersold the Las Vegas experience. Like, that's what I remember from the. I was like, oh, this is the one that takes place in like Zombie Vegas. Okay, cool. And that's how you guys got me on board. I was like, all right, I'll watch this one. I'll come do this show this week. And it's like,
all of the fact that the settings were all in the middle of nowhere, despite Alice being in Salt Lake City, which is a huge place.
Yeah, you would
it's
never
like,
know it.
No, and this is, I believe they said 5 years or a couple years, 5 years after the Raccoon City incident, where everything was fine.
Sure.
And in the course of 5 years, not only did the T-virus spread, but the entire world died and became sand.
The oceans dried up. The trees died. I mean, in 5 years, it's amazing.
Crows become sentient, like
zombie
crows. Zombie crows.
We'll get to our controller toss moments. Don't you worry, Patrick. But we start out with what we call our speed run It's a liberal term that we don't usually stick to.
Nope.
It's a quick review of the film, something that you might see on the back of the box at your local GameStop. Mortal Kombat has a cheesy script but nails the spirit of the game. Or Street Fighter's costume designer was the only person who did their job on this film. Actors and all. You know what? I miss Street Fighter.
Did you? You miss it? It's funny how that works.
Yeah. Like Zangief going, change the channel. Like there's some levity.
Yes.
Let's get some of that. I mean, not to say there hasn't been levity. We did Warcraft 2 weeks ago and Angry Birds before that, which were both solid. Check those episodes out after this one. But who wants to go first? Their speedrun.
Stacey, per tradition, I would like you to go first.
Would you like me to start?
I would.
Okay. Mine is actually a speedrun this time.
Oh, goodness.
Right.
I know. This is... All right.
I'm glad one of us pays attention to directions because mine is not.
This is really all I had to say.
Fair. Okay.
This.
All right. Wait, and just to set this up, you were saying off mic that you wrote this down immediately after watching the episode. Is this correct?
Yeah, this happened right after the movie
I just wanted to set the table for this. All right. I'm excited.
It has
about
not
this.
changed since.
Great.
Had a couple days of doing it. All right. Here we go. This is my back of the box. This movie wastes no time establishing itself as effing stupid, and it maintains that momentum throughout the entire run of the film.
Yeah, that's...
You didn't even need that of the film in there.
No,
that
just
was good.
Yeah. Even shortened it to an initial. It was a very harsh initial. I felt it was some language, young lady.
Good.
I was good.
Monsieur Patrice.
Okay.
Mine's not much of a speed run, but it is a run. I did, however, think about the back of the box.
This is a brisk jog.
It's kind of a jaunt. I think it's like but I was thinking about the back of the box of the DVD, and at the top of it, I wanted the headline to be, people know what they're signing up for at this point in this series. Underneath that, I've got, frankly, the title of this film is the only thing that gives me hope around this series. Could this finally be curtains for this stubbornly undead franchise? Fortunately, Resident Evil Extinction plays worse than any installment of the game franchise. It's worse than bad, it's boring. We get a deep dive into Umbrella Corp's organizational chart and almost no time in Zombie Vegas.
All of that is very apropos.
Sure.
Very good.
It's a thing. Yeah.
The only thing this Right to Nowhere adds is more Alice's. Aside from that, this could be left in the desert to get its eyes picked out by zombie crows.
Yeah. I would watch a thing called Zombie Crows. Like if they called this Resident Evil Zombie Crows, might be more into it.
I think that's on Netflix.
I'd watch it.
Pretty sure you can get Zombie Crows on Netflix.
Fantastic.
Sponsor. Yeah, so because I think we have more of this than anything else on our list. We move from that to something we call the controller toss moment, and that's when you're watching the film and you silently have, or very abruptly and loudly have a "you've got to be kidding me," and you toss your controller across the room. So these can be silly, these can be serious, these can be something you enjoyed, though these ones probably aren't. I want to say my first, which was the reveal that the Alice that we see in the beginning of the movie is just another test clone when she gets thrown into the ditch with all the other Alices. Yep. I'm like, come on. We started the last one with like, oh, they're cloning her, and now it's like, we got another one. Just throw her in the trash. They totally rinsed the end reveal of that, and I couldn't. You
didn't like it. That's funny because I was like, maybe the one part when I'm like, all right, they're getting this out of the way. For me, that was a hopeful moment. Okay. I was like, I get it. There's clones. They're getting that boring stuff off the table. Let's ratchet this up to 10, and like it was downhill from there for sure. But like I actually kind of took heart in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I mean, it's a way to look at it. I'm trying to be optimistic, guys. I'm trying.
You are the positive one.
I know. Patrick's positive corner. Yep.
What else do you guys have for controller toss moments? Because I have a few.
Do you? I'm sure we do.
I have a really nitpicky one.
Please.
Go, please.
Those are the best.
So, the convoy, the survivor convoy, all of those girls were so well accessorized. They had these huge dangle earrings. You're fighting zombies. What are you doing with these dangle earrings?
Yeah.
It's so impractical.
Yes.
That was one of my Get out.
It makes them feel confident.
When you're wearing giant dangle earrings.
Yeah, totally.
In the zombie apocalypse.
Sure.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
It could. I think it might be something where it's like, this is the last thing that reminds me of the world that we once had.
Okay, then you get yourself some studs and a cute little like choker necklace, not dangle earrings that are gonna get ripped out of your ear.
Oh, I like that. Like this is the practical guide to looking good in the zombie apocalypse.
If you're surviving the zombie apocalypse, you're not doing it with giant dangle earrings. I mean, those were absurdly large dangle earrings.
No dangles here. In the zombie apocalypse.
Definitely missed that one.
Yeah,
for sure. I have several controller tosses as well.
Please.
One of my favorite ones was, do you guys remember when Carlos was bitten? Yeah, so Carlos is bitten in the arm by, was it LJ?
LJ.
LJ straight bit him. He's saying goodbye. It's this moment where you think that there would be something to it, right? There's this powerful moment when he's saying goodbye to the group. And straight up, there is a freeway in the background. The cars are just driving back and forth in the scene. And I'm like, I paused it, I straight up rewound it, and I get it, like continuity's gotta be difficult, or like securing a set, but dog, there are cars just going back and forth. It's right off the freeway, and I'm like, this is not, it took me straight out of the movie. Like, if I hadn't a wing to my controller several times before, I was like, nope. It was so bad.
The desert's one color. You can key that out.
Straight up, just cars just going.
They didn't even try.
Like,
they didn't.
I feel like he was like just headed out there to hitchhike, because like plenty of places I can go at this point. It's real bad.
That's real bad.
Yep.
The aforementioned zombie crows.
Yes. Let's talk about those.
They've been feeding on flesh for the zombie flesh.
Sure.
Like, so you like there's a murder of crows, but what, they get that big of a horde together?
Yeah.
They're sentient now.
Right. Yeah, it's a sentient
They're
horde.
calling each other up and gathering together.
Riddle me this though: did their eye turn into the umbrella logo?
No, it just it had the same like bloodshot look.
I wasn't sure
as the infected.
I thought they were very on brand in the event that they did go into that. I was going to be really impressed with the science over Umbrella and Core. I mean, we learned a lot about them this episode.
Well, they put
a lot of
their
things I didn't want to know.
They put their watermark on the DNA. So
totally.
You can see that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You can see that biz.
So you didn't like specifically just them start to finish zombie crows?
The zombie crows, if they had the proper backstory. The fact that we saw the one, and when they panned out to all of them, I was like, this is all the same model copied and pasted.
Oh yes.
Like they took a 3D model and just like it was one dude's afternoon where he went Control C, Control V, move it a little bit to the right, Control V, move it a little bit to the right, Control V, move it a little bit back, Control V. Let's put this one on the wire, okay, Control V. Like that was somebody's day. I'm not even saying it was a
afternoon.
It's afternoon.
Yeah.
Just like
it's after lunch. Just like okay. I think my problem with that scene was all of that for sure, but like the amount of times that people just randomly shot into the cloud of crows. What do you think to accomplish? Like you're just unloading an AK. There's like thousands. Like, don't you think those bullets would be better spent somewhere else? As that this like sort of like resource management games have taught me, don't shoot your bullets. You need those later.
That was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, right?
Firing wildly.
What are you gonna do?
You're gonna hit one crow?
Run. I know. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, guys. This is not gonna.
Hey, Mom, I hit one crow.
You think you hit one and they're all gonna like, oh no, run away?
I'm out.
No.
They got Johnny. They got Johnny. We're out of here. I want to be. I wish I could have been a grip, even though it's a desert and it would have been really hot. I wish I could have been a grip on the set that day, just to hear like a PA or the director going, "All right, there are crows everywhere. Just let me just shoot wildly. Oh my God, there's so many people." And then me just going, "Okay, whatever, sure." I mean, we got introduced to a new character, Betty, with Ashanti. Her and LJ seem to have an interesting relationship, but gone.
Yep.
Oh,
it's like, oh no, she's a hero. I would have switched them so that we could have gotten more from LJ.
Yeah.
And we got because we have history with LJ. He could have had his heroic moment by letting the people go, as opposed to like, nah, I'm bit, I'll just chill. But if we had Betty, because we don't know her as much, to see how she handles the bite would have been a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
That scene was just weird. And the the introduction of the telekinesis too.
Oh, which was that part? The motorcycle?
Well, no,
it started with the motorcycle.
It started with the motorcycle. Then she had her episode when she was asleep.
Yes.
And then at the end of the crow scene, where she takes the flamethrower, the car-mounted flamethrower,
of course,
stops the blast
as you do
from hitting.
She becomes a firebender.
Essentially, she bends all the fire up into the air, and we get something very much out of the Max Payne movie. It looked like when the ceiling exploded, and I was like,
100%.
I like this visual.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I got up and walked out of the room.
Is that true?
That's what your husband
said. You're just like, I can't.
And walked out of the room and had to compose myself.
How long a break did you take?
I made it back in within about a minute.
Okay.
But I just needed a moment.
That's fair. I think that was one of my moments too when he spoke to the like introduction of telekinesis when she's asleep, right? And she raises the motorcycle up and it falls and breaks, and she's like face slap, like, oh man, like you broke your motorcycle. Yeah, totally, right? Like she was like just oh man, like it was great. It's great.
This movie is. That's the essence of this movie. Really quick, Star Drew says this is better Wasteland than Double Dragon, so it's got that going for it.
It does have
Double Dragon had the better gangs.
It did.
Yes.
We had the mailman gang.
Cool.
R.I.P. Mailman.
If there were zombie gangs,
Yeah.
And okay, I just thought of another one.
Right.
The fact that, so in the illustrious speaking of the zombies and zombie gangs, the zombies looked like they were in a gang.
They sure
because
did.
they all had jumpsuits and gloves.
They did.
Because it's a lot easier to do the makeup on just the head because it covers the head. That's where how could this not have a big enough budget to warrant costumes? Did they waste it all on the horde that got?
There's the science. It's science. I feel like they're those union workers are genetically predisposed to contracting the T virus. I feel like I'm sure it was explained somewhere. We must have missed it, right?
Yeah, they went in depth. I'm sure.
Did you guys have more controller toss moments?
So many more.
I can probably think of some more, but do you have some?
I've got one.
All right.
So this was so I mentioned at the beginning. I took heart at the clones thing. I'm like, all right, we're getting that off the table. When she gets the distress call, my baby, I need some help with my baby. Like the people have eyes, people at the television station, and when they flip the script, I'm yelling, what are you doing? It's the toothless, the whole group. It was just really bad.
Hey, Mom!
Hey, Mom, look at this pointing-haired little girl.
And also the kick that kills the guy.
Kills him straight, killed him. So
super strength is one thing.
It was awesome. It was pretty great. They throw her in the pit with the dogs. Then the keys. So this is where this felt more like a video game. Do you know in video games where they're very convenient about placing strategic geography, places you can climb, places you can't go. Stairways are always blocked off, in video games. So as the dog pulls that thing, it drops part of the concrete down, allowing her to climb up like it would be in any video game, right?
Yeah.
Creating the convenient ramp up.
It would have been like a QTE.
Yes. Yeah, real dumb.
Much like QTEs.
My exact note during that scene was, all right, I'm going to stop writing down things I don't like and just write down the positives. My hand's going to hurt a lot less at the end of this.
A little too true. There are a couple of things that I think. So we're going to get into the cast. We have a lot of returning folks. We have Ian Glenn, Mia Jovovich, Oded Fair, Mike Epps. I was a big fan. I'm just a big fan in general of Lyndon Ashby. Yeah. Because that's our Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat.
You're damn right.
And he was the cowboys.
I was so excited to see the man.
And he had, I think, one of the most gruesome deaths, where he just fell on the fake Eiffel Tower. Yeah. Tower he fell. And he fell huge. Sorry, audio listeners. Pure madness. Who of our? And most of these people got killed by the end anyway. I was a little bit surprised that they killed off Carlos.
Me too.
Yeah.
And LJ for that matter.
I thought for sure you seen it get said anti-serum. I thought for sure Carlos was
right. He was gonna pull through.
Totally. But you ran into that convoy on the freeway, and they took him to Vegas.
Whatever. And also another controller test moment. Why were cigarettes an ongoing joke?
I don't know. And they kept going back to it. The movie. Did they pay it off at all either?
Yeah, they did with Carlos.
They tried. Okay. Let's just.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Whoever sat there and decided, oh my God, it would be so cool if he's just framed in the window smoking a cigarette as the zombies.
Cigarette.
So was it a cigarette? Yeah.
Right. You're right. Okay.
That was
as
real
the zombies.
A wacky tobacco cigarette.
Honestly, that sounds a little terrifying. Being on wacky tobacco and seeing a horde of zombies coming. Like the only way that could be worse.
Well, I figured there was probably a split second of everything being okay before he exploded.
Fair enough. Yeah, right.
Probably. He had that Zen moment.
Calm your nerves.
Okay.
But dead, as much of a fan of Oded Fair as I am, Claire got away. Kmart.
Okay.
Kmart got away.
Yeah, she did. I love that explanation to her name too.
That's where they found me, and everybody else around me is dead.
You hate your name that much.
Keep it.
Kmart is acceptable.
Keep it. Blue light special over here. Real dumb. Just all right. I know. I'm sorry.
Just a moment.
I have on here some time allotted for the plot discussion.
What?
I'm sorry, plot? Some cool satellites. Some
They were
circled the
like
Earth.
two separate stories that tried to interconnect and they didn't, but they weren't even really stories on their own.
Was it an allegory for Vegas being bad for the soul and that you can't fight the desert
didn't spend
back?
enough time
It
with
was like
Vegas.
fake Vegas. It wasn't even Vegas.
So it was
So something that I found unfortunate. They kept crossing.
unfortunate.
They kept crossing their logic.
Sure.
So Alice gives the reason. When I'm around people, they die. So that's why I'm not around people. But I'll hang around you guys for a little bit.
Yeah.
You just told them why you shouldn't be around them. I'm gonna stay.
Yep.
Well,
Totally.
and the fact that it's been 5 years and apparently she's been keeping to herself, all clean and tidy, and they've had no like way to track her or anything, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I'm gonna stick with you guys.
And that's what does
you
it.
know,
I think they alluded to that when she asked what time it was. I think she learned when the satellites.
She said she'd been tracking their patterns or whatever,
Yeah,
and
so
she has
she
like
was
the little
watching
readout
it.
on her
Yeah,
phone,
that's
on her
true.
watch. It was
Yeah,
like,
so it was like, what time is it?
high
Whatever.
tech.
Damn
And
it.
in that case, I wouldn't go, oh, whatever. I'd be like, I screwed everybody. I'm gonna go.
you're all
Yeah.
dead.
You're all gonna die.
Sorry.
Protect the children. So, I mean, essentially, this was about the survivor surviving. There was transmissions of the idea that because Alaska was so cold, the T virus could not reach it, and it was still safe from the
Definitely.
infection. So we're gonna drive from Nevada.
Which was a crazy rumor to begin. Like that one person who hung themselves
Whoops.
Little bit of hope.
wrote down. Yeah.
Little bit of hope.
You cleaned anything.
I
I
do-
guess,
These people
but-
need hope.
Dude, straight up,
From 50 to 40. No, not even 30.
I do love that this continued the tradition of video game journals, like where they like over circled like me going here and like with, like, you know, in every game ever they like, oh, you played
Laid it
Uncharted
out.
and they're
What
like,
just
oh,
hit
all
me?
of this and like, yeah, and it was very like, hey audience, here it is. It was pretty great. I loved it.
No ambiguity.
No, I knew exactly
Put it
where they
in
were
your
going.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mystery Alaska? Maybe Alaska's
Juneau,
someplace.
perhaps.
You know, just somewhere.
If only they were specific.
I don't know.
Nah.
They stole this from the Simpsons movie. I don't think this isn't very original. Nice job, Capcom. But yeah, so it's they're trying to get to Alaska from Nevada on a wasteland gas budget, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But hey, let's go for it. Shoot the moon. And then the Umbrella Corporation is trying to perfect the Alice clone so they could have so they could find a cure, etc., etc. Dr. Isaacs ends up infecting himself and turning into a new form of Nemesis.
Apparently.
And who had the same hand as the guy from Warcraft? Who he got mutated and ended up
That's
having
right,
a giant
with the
claw.
claw.
Yeah, that's a thing with bad guys.
You gotta mutate grotesquely and grow claws.
Totally, and have the
Otherwise,
weird, like,
you're not a proper video game villain.
Spaghetti fingers too.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh
a
yeah, the growing spaghetti. I had blocked that out.
I blocked most of this movie out, and it's fresh in my mind. I didn't change the thing from Warcraft. Anyway, so yeah, that was basically our plot. I guess a helicopter with an indeterminate amount of gas can make it to Alaska.
Sure, why not?
Apparently.
We don't know.
Yeah.
It's convenient plot tie-in.
Yeah, like, hey, there's a
Why
helicopter.
aren't you shooting at it?
But also take these 12 children and 4 adults into this 4-seater and just fly
It's
to Alaska.
fine.
Hopefully nobody falls off.
No, that is my favorite thing about this movie. It just says stuff like that, like where any normal person would be like, hey, doing the mental arithmetic, be like, I don't think that works here. Everybody's like, yeah, okay. Like when she says that
Great.
she wants that helicopter, she's like, good plan, perfect. And people just go along with it in this movie. It's the best.
Claire just kind of does at the beginning, but ends up learning, no, I can trust her. She likes my ideas. But it's like, no. Stick with your initial response.
Yeah.
Not fun. I would say don't fly to Alaska. Fly to the airport. You could probably find something better that somebody tried to fly on and around,
Right.
steal it, and go.
Yeah, there you go.
At the very least, you can make sure that it has enough fuel.
Right, you can fuel up. But yeah.
It's like the movie should have ended with, and the helicopter crashed somewhere in Oregon.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it did.
That's as far as it could.
Do we ever know? I don't know that we'll ever find out.
Whatever. Alaska at the end? Was Alaska at the end? I didn't stay till after the credits.
I don't think there was a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Starger was saying Alaska at the end was decent.
Was there a
Did we do a
post-credit
disservice?
scene?
I don't.
Am I calling
I did
ours-
not say. I don't
No,
think
I
there was a
didn't stick around
post-credit
for that.
scene. I don't think. No, but I don't think it was. I
was
scrubbed it.
just the.
I want to know.
It It was just the
That was just her
cloning
work
facility.
coming for you.
Yeah, and then all of the
Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
The Tokyo facility.
I will say though, they're starting to introduce Albert Wesker in this one, who is always been a very captivating villain when it comes to video games. I wish they had his voice actor, because he does kind of look like him. His presence is there, but the punch is missing something for me of just no, we have to take the extra little bit of like, oh, this dude's not even just bad, he's evil.
He's not right. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
the Resident Evil.
Been wrong.
Yeah.
He's the Resident Evil here.
Right.
Actually, on that note, Dr. Isaacs just made his voice. The CEO, the president of this company, who probably signed off on the technology to copy voices, isn't like, I wonder if he might copy my voice someday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And he just did.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
problem.
get this man a crate of zombies. All right.
Sure.
He's got like a soundboard in his office set up. He's like, zombies, crate, zombies.
Also, that crate.
It's just a hobby.
How many
Do anything
zombies
with it.
could that fit?
Dude, that was
There were
they
a lot
ran
in there.
forever.
There was like 40 or 50 of
Totally.
them.
You can tell just
Easily.
off screen they were just like running extras through, just like go.
Who wants to be an extra in a bodysuit and rubber mask
makeup.
running
through the desert?
I
don't know if the pay was good, but if the craft services was good, I'd probably understand.
Nah.
So in terms of game similarities, the only thing was Carlos, but he died. We get Claire Redfield. That's cool. That's a start.
True.
Good.
Kmart. No, I'm totally kidding.
Kmart.
Wesker. We got the dogs returning.
Their brief cameo.
Yeah, it's just.
Total
I don't.
sense.
It's interesting when I will hand it to them. They decided to take the idea and split off and make their own thing. This is not a movie for us, though. This is a movie for the general movie public, which is why the Resident Evil franchise has gotten to 7 films? 6?
Too many.
The final chapter is the one that we're waiting on, coming out later this year.
7, yeah.
So I agree.
We've already done Extinction, and now we're coming up to the final chapter. It's
Afterlife, and then I would disagree a little bit with what you said. So I definitely applaud that. If you're looking for that silver lining, I applaud that they like most of these are so risk averse, right? Like we complain on the show every week about them sticking too closely and being real beholden to the video game tropes and kind of narrative conceits. They did their own thing. But I wouldn't argue that this is a movie for the general populace. Like they did their own thing, and it's real dumb still, and they incorporate just enough to like be. Like, I get that the T-Virus is a pretext for, like, this post-apocalyptic zombie film, but also they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, we don't really explain why we're there or what we do there.
We spend so much time with, like, Umbrella Corp. Like we learn all about them, and that I do really like that establishing shot where, like, as opposed to showing the elevator, they just go blueprint and then down, and then we're in the labs. It's
cheaper.
But we spend a ton of time to look at all that, and way too little time actually fighting or killing zombies or in cool, like, zombie Vegas. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so I agree with you. They did leave, and thumbs up to them, but like at the same time, it was all a miss, all of it.
Right.
Yeah, I think this was more of like zombies were the sort of the case du jour for the public.
Sure.
Like this was 2007, so
Zombies were in.
Yeah, zombies were pretty in.
Sure.
So I figured, and like you said, zombies in a Vegas aesthetic.
Cool idea.
Cool idea.
Yep.
If I was watching the trailers and into something like this, would be like, that's something we haven't seen. Let's go see this 10-minute.
Yeah.
Actually, this was several action scenes strung together by a poor narrative, which was really unfortunate.
And not even that many action scenes. Like, it barely qualifies. I feel like there was not that many.
And with the action scenes, I mean, we've gone 5 years or a couple of years at the very least in this apocalyptic kind of wasteland, but it seems like whenever they did clash with any zombies, they got completely decimated. So they
like ill-equipped to deal with them. Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. That's actually
they
really
got wiped out so thoroughly.
That's a great point.
In their couple of clashes.
Well, these are the tested upon zombies from Dr. Isaac.
The ones in Vegas were, but I mean the crows. Did the crows thing just happen? Are we to assume that that's like a new mutation?
They seemed shocked by it.
I
They seemed
guess.
taken back by
It
it.
seemed like it was something that
So
they've
just-
never
Just
had
spawned. It just
before.
happened to spawn right.
Yeah,
then
it's
and
Monster
there.
Closet. It's a spawn.
It's like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
It's like Left 4 Dead. It spawns in a different place.
yeah,
every time.
absolutely.
All right.
If you watch the
can't be
movie
sure.
again, the crow scene isn't even in it.
No, that's not.
It's a
They're just
totally
like,
different
Dude, let's
animal.
totally go to Alaska. That's probably why he said there was Alaska. His version of the movie had
It's all procedurally generated.
Right.
That I would tune in for.
That would
But,
be
like,
interesting.
I get what you said. Like, I understand why like this movie gets greenlit, right? Like, if I called you, I was like, Mark, it's Patrick from marketing. I got zombies. I got Vegas. What do you think?
I'm in.
You see how he gets greenlit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what happened. I just blacked out.
yeah, right. So anyway, I get it, but
no,
it was so lame.
in terms of several action scenes, not the fact that there was so many, but the fact that the few that there were so long.
Yes.
Like, the Vegas
Right.
scene was maybe like 15, 20 minutes. The Crow scene was 10 to 15 minutes. Like, it was, they were long of what the action scenes were, and they, in their length, got boring.
Yes.
And I didn't want to see it.
Dragged out.
I think that this is in my non-speed run, but it's worse than bad. It's boring. I was bored throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. So, speaking of how this movie was made, this was after Apocalypse, right after Apocalypse opened at #1 in 2004. Anderson, Paul W.S. Anderson, who's sort of the godfather of this franchise, he's like, you know what? We need directors, so they get Russell Mulcahy, who's primarily a music video director, which I found amazing. He directed the first video we ever saw on MTV, which is the Buggles' "Video Killed the Radio Star."
Is that true?
100%
Wow.
true. And so he's also done Turning Japanese by the Vapors,
Okay.
videos for the Human League, the Tubes, Elton John, Ultravox, Duran Duran, Spandau Ballet, Kim Carnes, Bonnie Tyler, Rod Stewart, Billy Joe, The Motels, Supertramp, Kenny Loggins, The Rolling Stones, and more. He also directed the Highlander movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this was a style that we needed to get for this franchise. I don't see the style here.
Any of that influence?
Or the
Where did it go?
substance.
Right? No. Yeah.
No.
Totally.
Nope. Just
It got
beyond.
lost.
That's why I think it was one of the reasons why I knee-jerked. I didn't think you'd intentionally mislead us, but my knee-jerk was, is that true? Because, like, none of that translates.
No.
I mean, none of it. It was just a paint-by-numbers, really shitty zombie experience.
I would say the only thing that came through was the segmented aspect of this is an idea, this is another idea, this is another idea, but they didn't flesh well together.
Okay, I can see
That's
that.
the only
Right.
thing that he decided to make segments instead of a full movie. That's what I can
Do you think
see.
it's a function? Do you think it really suffers as a function of the fact that it is kind of this joining chapter, right? That they had a bigger vision, and so he was given instructions to just get us from point A to point B, keep that moving. We'll make a mint to the box office, and then we're going to finish the narrative later. Is that? I mean, like, I'm looking for any pretext as to why this is as bad and aimless as it is.
Yeah, as far as it just had so much setup to do that it couldn't really do anything for itself.
Yes. It doesn't go anywhere.
But
Like,
I
there's no
don't think
third
so.
act, right? There's just like it doesn't like there's a
Right.
structure to it. They just go like there's no arc for any character. Like a couple people die, but like there's no arc
You
to
still
anything.
don't get any. Yeah, you get no growth.
Alice stands there on I'm pretty sure it's the Venetian walkway, or the Bellagio walkway, and just stands there while everybody else gets murdered just because they're like, satellite, whatever, and doesn't even register, oh my god, everybody died while I blacked out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, you two zombies, I'm gonna cut your heads off.
Yep.
You look at me and swing.
Look at me when I'm killing you. Yeah, totally.
She did her part.
She is the reason all of those
know.
people got killed. How can we get behind her as a hero?
No. She was a really bland hero in this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, totally.
No reason to root for her.
And I feel like the telekinesis was grossly underutilized too. You think that would come in a little bit more handy, maybe like in Vegas, and just start throwing some people around? She totally forgot about it till the very end of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, that thing that I can do.
that.
Yeah.
No. I gotta use my knives.
Yeah. Oh, true.
I brought these. I'm gonna use them. Okay.
To her credit, they're pretty
carried
badass.
them that entire way.
I know. It's
yeah,
true.
She
It's
just
true.
gotta use
It's
them.
true.
Just beyond terrible. Funny though, Chris Redfield and Leon S. Kennedy, other well-known and some would say better-known heroes. Well, I would next to Claire, maybe not. Heroes like if people think of Resident Evil, definitely Chris Redfield, and because Resident Evil 4 are widely considered the greatest in the franchise, Leon Kennedy is definitely a choice. Funny thing was Charlie Clausen, Australian actor, was going to be Chris Redfield. I thought you would find this interesting because Jensen Ackles was going to play Leon Kennedy.
I read that. Yeah. All right.
But okay, so Paul Anderson also said that the film story is original and unfolds in a world that fans of the game recognize. Quote, it's all part of of trying to deliver a movie-going experience that satisfies the fans of the game, but also provides a fun cinematic experience for a broader audience that has never played a Resident Evil game.
Fun is the problem.
They miss on both marks, though.
Yes, they
right?
really
Like
do.
that had the zero. There's almost zero fan service other than the actual like Umbrella Corps logo and some names and
Demon
whatnot.
dogs.
Totally.
It's like,
And that's-
Claire Redfield, I know that name.
Yeah.
Kmart, I know that name.
Claire Redfield. It's her convoy. I love how they announced that in the convoy on the radio.
yeah.
Oh, this is Claire's convoy. It's Claire's. Hey everybody, it's Claire's
is
convoy.
Claire's.
Whose is it?
Claire's.
Okay, I was just making sure. It was Claire's.
It was Claire's.
All right.
That's a place you can go get country clothes down at the strip mall.
Come on down to Claire's.
Come on down
get
to
your-
Claire's Convoy. Get yourself a truck or a Hummer. And they had a beautiful Hummer H3 that was just kind of a little dirty, but it was like, that looks like brand new. All right.
Come on down to
Held
Claire's.
up really well.
Coming out of Claire's, get yourself a Hummer H3. We got mesh windows and everything.
We do.
Speaking of that. Oh my god.
The pros are coming.
Reinforced
Also,
windows.
Roll up the windows. The pros are coming.
We also like it. So this is like, again, there are elements of like resource management to the games. We live in this post-Walking Dead world. And I know this came out kind of before that, but like, did it bother either of you, like just their whole resources, not just shooting at the crows, but like how liberally they just like used electricity and just like, just bounced when they just left video cameras, the perimeter. Like those are probably the last 3 working video cameras on Earth, and you just left them.
Yep.
I don't know. I was the
problem.
whole resource
Yeah, no,
thing
it
just really
was
bugged me start to
not an
finish. Okay. It was very.
I wish we could
uncomfortable.
have gotten a thing where somebody had a briefcase and they put like a whole bunch of they tried to fit everything, but they put like one piece of food and it took up like the entire
Totally.
space of it. Like if they could literally like stack things in it and then like shotgun takes. If they actually had the mechanic from like Resident Evil 4,
I would love there's a rocket launcher that's taking up all of the spots.
it's
great.
It's
Be great.
You know what took up?
bother
Great.
that. No,
that would be
go
fan
there.
service I get behind.
You know what took up all the space in
funny.
this movie?
What's that?
Nothing. There was no substance.
Sand.
This was
Yes,
an empty
you can't
briefcase
fight back
full.
the
This is
sand.
a briefcase full of sand.
Yeah, all right.
All sand.
Sand. It's everywhere. Get used to it.
Yep.
So actually, I will say, getting into critical and box office, this is a little surprising. The budget was $45 million. It made $147.
I did see that, which explained a lot, and how there are several more, and you can't kill the franchise. Mia Jovovich is a star.
Won't stay down.
As much as these are definitely her movies.
100%.
But this was one where I was like, I don't care about her.
No.
That was the least interesting plot line that we had. I mean, I used plot line loosely.
Plotline. I use plotline loosely. But the IMDb score on this is 6.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, this one's interesting. 22% critics, 58 audience.
I'm sorry, what?
So 60%.
Super surprised. I read a couple of very positive user reviews. People were like, "This was fun."
Walk me through what they said, because I don't understand
They
that
had a
delta,
different
right?
version. They had a different Spawn version.
Okay.
Probably
They
with the
must have.
last
Oh,
guy.
different procedural.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Their run through was in this roguelike. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
Had
was
to
a
be.
little different.
It had to be.
So some of the reviews
No credits.
that I found, I got Matt White's here from the Dallas Morning News. The palette is post-apocalyptic America with generous squeezes of every cinematic pigment, from the Omega Man to Mad Max to Night of the Living Dead. Really, the lack of flying saucers ultimately becomes quite amazing. I would have taken Aliens.
Oh, totally. And
At
nobody
that
would have
point?
blinked an eye.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys know
Bring 'em
about the secret Resident Evil ending where it's a Shiba Inu in a or is that Silent Hill? Never
doesn't-
mind. I think that's Silent Hill.
Does not sound like Resident Evil.
no?
But it's just like, oh, levity. That's Silent Hill. Excuse me. But yes, Kevin Crust. The story and characters are surprisingly engaging, with fight scenes and scares effectively placed between plot turns. I picked that one because I don't understand it, and I speak English, but that I don't.
You do.
Yeah.
Speak English.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wow, I know. I don't understand that at all.
I mean, so, okay.
not a fan.
In slight defense of that, there were a couple of characters that could have been very engaging had they been given proper arcs and longer lifespans.
For example.
That would have been the surprising part.
Yep.
Right.
If that happened.
Who would have been more engaging? Like Ma, Heels Don't Have Eyes? My baby!
No.
My
Shit,
baby!
we're gonna leave her where
Bitch,
she
you
fell.
dropped my baby.
But like
My
Nurse
baby.
Betty was really interesting. I thought she could have been fun. I mean, and as far as the movie went of our survivors, Claire was a pretty interesting character.
Yeah, I wish the movie was
Otherwise-
about her with like a cameo from Alice.
Yeah, just kind of popping in.
I think the dude who could shake the cans and tell what type of food was in it, that was the most interesting part of the whole movie. No question, because that's a pretty
was
dope
good. That
bar
was a good
trick. I
kill.
feel like, yeah.
Mikey, their little tech.
Mikey.
I liked him too. I was sad. I was sad
he was
that
all
he
right.
went down.
All
That
right.
was one of the first disappointing deaths.
Sucker.
It's like they spent the majority of the movie getting. That's why I think LJ should have again died in the crow attack, because then we would have had more of a movie to get to know these characters before they all got shot down in Vegas, which is just it made it feel like more of a waste of time.
Look, it's where good people go to die. I feel like, again, I'm sticking with this metaphor. People go to Vegas with good intentions. You never really leave Vegas whole. I get it. I get it.
Their credit
It's a
dies.
meta commentary on Vegas being a shitty
Very
town, if you
pointed
didn't follow that.
commentary.
It's a garbage town for monster people.
I love Vegas. Thank you.
I mean,
Man.
So why don't we go from there to our favorite lines?
Yes.
These are favorite lines for real reasons or for stupid reasons, which most likely probably are. Who wants to go first?
Stacey, please help
I'm
us.
gonna go.
Please.
All right. So we have to just go with Alice towards the end.
Okay.
Where she's about to throw our evil Jorah, Dr. Isaacs.
Evil Jorah.
That's,
Perfect.
you know, it took me a really
no.
long time to remember his name, so
I'm
that's how I had to
super good with
refer to
that.
him.
Kept
Before he
looking for
gets
the
cut up by the
grayscale.
laser grid. Yeah.
Okay.
And she goes, "No, you're just another asshole."
Ooh, that was your delivery was pretty good too.
It was a good delivery. I think my problem with that line was there was more setup for the cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Than there were, like, it wasn't spending the whole movie
No.
calling people assholes.
No, it was just thrown in there. It was
Yeah.
great. Why not?
She spoke for the audience.
At that point, yeah,
for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
you're channeling.
Oh, God. I liked the scene between the lackey who came in after Isaacs got infected.
Oh yes, yeah, totally.
Which was, "You're out of control. All this ends here under Executive Order 1345 issued by Chairman Wesker for insubordination and gross misconduct in the field. I sentence you to summary liquidation." Liquidation? No, just die.
Just die. Yeah, I
That was
agree.
like-
That was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? And I mean, it's like, oh, is he dead? Is he actually dead? That was perfect.
Yeah, it was
That's great. Oh, he has
Yeah.
to get up, doesn't he? Fine.
Of course.
But it was
It was a
thematically
good
consistent,
moment.
right? Like
Yeah.
we needed to learn
Right.
more about Umbrella Corps. We now know their dismissal policy. I feel like they were reading straight out of the handbook. Like, God, this movie.
Your severance
Tried
package
to
will be
make it look
provided.
fun. It wasn't.
Just die.
Just die.
I like so when LJ and Carlos first got to the motel, they showed up, and LJ rocked an amazing line. He says, "I'm gonna get a room. I'll take a waterbed, a jacuzzi, and I'm gonna rent me a porno."
Hey, Carlos,
Yep.
you want to have a sweet bro JO sesh?
Okay, so question: have you ever gone to a hotel and be like, "Hey, excuse me, do you have a waterbed? Do you have a waterbed?" Who even says that? I don't know.
LJ.
guy.
Do you have a waterbed? Do you have a waterbed?
I would like your finest
I would like a
please.
waterbed and a porno, please.
Oh, and a jacuzzi.
And
And a jacuzzi.
Don't want to trouble
I'm
you.
gonna rent me a porno.
I'm gonna rent
It was
me.
I'm
perfectly
gonna rent
delivered,
me.
though. Yeah.
If I ever meet Mike
Okay.
Epps, if there's something I'm going to bring up, is like, so getting back into the head
Yeah,
of LJ.
walk me through this a little bit.
What post-apocalyptic porno were you thinking of renting at the motel?
So are they
audience
still in
needs to
production?
know.
Actually, that was in Dead Rising 3. Another Capcom joint was
Yeah.
one of the missions. You actually have to stop a weird fetish zombie porno.
I'm an idiot. We could have done Dead Rising instead.
Oh!
Because Dead Rising 4 looks amazing.
I agree.
So I think we decided on what our
we've
next
got it.
movie is
Look at
gonna
that.
be.
Like a little behind inside baseball, right behind the curtain.
Goodness gracious.
People
I was
look,
like,
this is
what?
inspiration
Yep.
is struck. I mean, that's one of the side quests as I'm hitting your mic. You actually, there's some weird post-zombie apocalypse that springs up a weird fetish around zombie porn, and you have to go kind of disrupt that a little bit. Maybe CJ had a thing for zom porn.
You know, we didn't.
So right next to
know well
MILFs.
enough,
It's
so
MILFs,
maybe.
zoms.
That's a weird
I'm
category.
looking for other
You
categories.
gonna
I'm
keep going
trying.
with
I don't
that?
know. Yeah, I was like, I lost it. I was like, I don't.
Let's not get into that
Nope.
too much.
Okay.
Did you,
Moving
did
on.
you have another one?
That was my other one.
That was your other
That was my other one.
Yeah.
I got a couple more if you have. some.
I have one when Alice is down below in the depths of the Umbrella Base and meets the White Queen.
Yes.
Oh.
Just like, I knew your sister. She was a homicidal bitch.
That was a
I
good
was
one.
like, where's this levity been?
Right.
Yep.
You know,
I know.
starting with that, the line is like, no, just die. It's like, where's this levity been?
Yeah.
Right? It was like they decided in the last couple minutes.
Like, there
to throw
was-
it in.
Yep.
Like, one could argue that LJ, I mean, I think them killing LJ with the bite was like, we don't need comic relief anymore.
No. Let's get rid of it.
Dismissed.
We need to get serious.
And as annoying and
It's the worst decision you can make.
as
do it.
annoying and kind of stereotypical as he was, he was still like a bright spot
I
in the
agree.
last movie.
I
really
Right.
enjoyed his scenes in the last movie, and this one is all just like, and also doing the stupid thing of not telling anybody that it was bit.
I've never seen that.
Especially after
Where
your
is the
medic
sense
friend
in that?
dies, it would be
I-
like, somebody shoot me so I can be with her again, or like something.
Just,
And question, like, when she
Sense.
came over to his like little ambulance truck with the dinner, like
yeah.
how at what point is she not going to notice that you have like big like bite
They-
marks
yeah,
all
they were
down your
clear
chest? Like
what was
gig is
going
up. Like he
on.
seemed excited to see her and be like, dog,
you would avoid
Or,
that
you know,
kind of conduct. Like, you,
you know, like
trying
how
to hide a zombie bite.
she wasn't. Yeah.
Why not? Did you have another one, Patrick?
My man Lyndon Ashby, Johnny Cage, climbed the Eiffel Tower, and he says, "Climb the Eiffel Tower with a high-powered rifle. A few years ago, that would have caused a stir. Well, let the good times roll." Loved it.
He was living
Thank you, Cage.
the life.
Johnny,
See,
yeah,
I
like,
could have used another half hour of him.
I totally agree. He's my favorite part of the movie. I think.
If we get more Resident Evil movies, I want them just to be Lyndon Ashby.
He should definitely be
Excellent.
all of the zombies. If we're gonna Control C, Control V, like the zombies,
be
it should
him.
just be Zombie
With
Cage.
the cowboy hat.
So yeah.
Just a crowd of zombies going,
Yes.
"Howdy."
Come
not?
on down to Claire's.
That's perfect. Something in the stupid category. At the end, when Alice and Carlos were like saying goodbye, it's like, just promise me one thing. When you get down there, doesn't let him finish and
Oh.
just says, "Consider it done." Like, you didn't know what he was. When you get down there, could you bring up
Please
like,
find CJ's porno.
pack,
Do what?
find a pack of Twinkies for me? It's like, no,
Done.
like
How
what?
do you know?
Yeah.
We didn't,
Great.
yeah, there was no lead up to how
No.
she would know.
And it's not like they established that they had a connection. The only thing was, or like a mental connection.
Yeah.
Because they kind of tease is just like, so what made you come back? And it's like punch in the arm, like,
Yeah.
"Ah," and then she's like mud in his hands. Like,
Yeah.
come on, she's supposed to be our badass hero. Okay,
When you get down there, take a selfie.
That was it.
That was it. It
the
was
grand
it.
finale.
Consider it
Actually,
done.
do us a favor. If you're listening to this, go to the comments. Finish that line for us.
Yeah, please.
When you get down there,
Finish it. ...
Please. Finish the line. We want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
I can't
Tweet at us using the hashtag VGMAnatomy. The last thing that we're going to do, so we've been
Down
recasting...
there, tell me if it smells or not.
That's not bad.
That's a good one. I would expect
one.
that in a movie
All
like
right.
this. So we've done 2 Resident Evil movies at this point, so doing a recast seems a little
Nope.
So instead, we're going to recast the director. We're going to do a what if a famous horror director or a famous suspense director redid the movie. And we've got 3. So what do y'all think of John Carpenter's Resident Evil Extinction? John Carpenter, of course, the Halloween movies.
Yep.
One of my favorite quote-unquote horror franchises of all time. And where we have a living Hulk of a man, Michael Myers,
Yep.
who one could consider a zombie.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how does the John Carpenter version of Resident Evil Extinction go? What would be better
What would be better?
in Extinction due to John Carpenter's involvement?
With him.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
You know, I feel like
So,
it was kind of similar.
It would be a little bit
thematically
similar to
wise,
his.
But hey.
did you disagree? You know,
Well, no, I think the thing about him is the action would be more deliberate. It wouldn't be just fire in the air. It would be
Right, that would
one.
be cut
It
out.
would be isolated.
Yeah.
Like I think the version of the Nemesis zombie would be a presence throughout the whole thing.
so like, and I think that's what you'd really touch on something. Where I would like it would be the violence would be more intimate, and I would almost want I wouldn't want him to do Extinction. I want him to do Resident Evil. No subtitle, no anything, and maybe it's a little bit more supernatural than less like genetic virus or whatever. Like we don't know the nature of the evil. We just know that people are dying, and it's an intimate violence.
Yeah, which is not a phrase you want to hear too often. No. Who wants to talk about George Romero's Resident Evil?
I had a hard time seeing this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this was the easiest one to transfer.
I think through the lens of focusing so much on Umbrella Corp, we wouldn't have that. I think it would be more kind of how it spread through society and like what they did to kind of enable it and keep it going.
I agree.
More of like a focus on the people, the humanity themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we wouldn't have seen the zombies in the jumpsuits. We would get a little bit more variety. Like
Sure.
Yes.
we would get desert people. I don't think and something about
We just have Vegas partiers.
I think Vegas would. I think
Yes.
Vegas wouldn't have been as desolate. I think we would have had.
actually look like a city.
Yeah, and that's the reason the crows were there was to be like, that's why there's no people in Las Vegas.
Right.
Though there's probably survivors buried under the rubble, surviving off of the years of food that Las Vegas probably has.
No, but like
And
that
the
city's
ones that are
ripe for
there just
commentary,
buried
right?
under.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
so.
a
And that's
great
something.
place.
And that's something about Romero too. Is he usually places the Day of the Dead movies in a place that requires some sort of commentary.
Excellent point.
And Vegas would be a prime setting for that.
And it's emblematic for everything. It's like Pleasure Island from Pinocchio, right? Like it's
Yeah.
people go there to drink and smoke and be jackasses, right? And make bad decisions. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a bad decision from time to time, folks. But I think you're right. That would have been just unbelievable
it's prime
for
for
commentary, for sure.
If there's a Dead Rising 2 movie starring our good friend Chuck Green, I would love. I mean, I don't know if he would sell his hands with it, but I think George Romero would have a lot of fun in Fortune City, Nevada.
Yep.
So yeah, totally all about that. And the last one we're going to cover, Stanley Kubrick. So I picked these three because we've got different types of horror movies, and I think we would have spent more time with Umbrella Corp. With Stanley Kubrick.
Oh yeah, for sure. Big Brother's watching. For sure. This would just be one of the side projects of the very many things.
Right.
You talk about commentary, right? But it would very much be part of the machine Big Brother's watching.
Yeah, it would probably focus a lot on more like the machinations, like how they are
The
controlling
creation of
things.
the virus.
Yeah,
Oh, totally.
how they're kind of keeping watch on what's unfolding, what kind of experiments.
More
are going
satellites.
on,
And yes,
more
and
satellites.
then maybe even their rise to power, right? Like what was it? What was early Umbrella Corps look like? Maybe like it started in a garage like Steve Jobs, right? Like early Umbrella Corps, and then their rise to this.
Dude, think
T-rise.
of the suspense, like like in was the Facebook movie, having your partner turn on you. In this, it would literally be Wesker killing people, and I would be 100% down for that.
I am on board.
Great.
I am super on board. That was fun.
So I like that. I like that you went that route
Yeah.
as opposed to trying to recast it for sure.
Because I mean, we would have only recast
went- yeah.
I can't.
Wesker and Claire and Betty, and that's no fun.
I had a couple other directors that I would like to kind of take a swing at
Do it.
if time
All right.
allows.
We got a little bit of time.
I think so. I wanted to do one of two things because it rides this weird line, right? Like it's very self-serious, but like either triple down on that or don't. Like be a little bit more of a parody. I really like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Interesting.
So like, do you remember
Remake.
again? It's a remake, but it's very satirical. It's a little bit over the top. It's great zombie action, but it kind of pokes fun at itself, at the genre, about like stereotypes in movies, right? Like the token black eye criminal in the mall or whatever. Like I felt that'd be perfect. Or they could double down and go like Les Weissman style, like Underworld, right? Like even more stylized.
Okay.
Again, maybe create some factions there, and like because that violence in Underworld was like so well choreographed and interesting as opposed to whatever we got. So I would say
Shooting
those would be the other two
wildly
that I would explore. And I want, no matter what they do, I would like, can we just stop? Can we just get a hard reboot? I like the idea of exploring evil that's not the T-virus. I don't know.
I think, and also going that route. Crap, who's the last person you said? Not Snyder.
Les Weissman?
Les Weissman. Going the Les Weissman route and the different factions. Being 5 years, the virus could have naturally evolved at
Totally.
this point.
Yes.
So we
have
could
different levels.
We could have different
For sure.
types of zombies, different more than just crows. But what is the effect on the humanity five years after? Has society and how have these zombies survived and not evolved?
Right.
That's
Right.
what I wonder without
just
genetic
this
tampering.
Weird stasis.
Yeah, it's really weird.
5 years.
I would have really liked that.
Establish something by then.
Final thoughts on Resident Evil Extinction before we get going.
Well, I'd say Robert Rodriguez would be a.
Oh! Sorry, I got really excited about that. Yes, that's such a great idea. Yes.
I like that a lot. Thank you, that's the Jimbo Slice, the TheJimbo Slice on Twitter. Yeah, I think Rodriguez could do, if he could do for zombies what he did for vampires.
Yeah.
And that would be
fun.
the Vegas movie.
That'd be
Also,
fun. Oh,
Right,
totally.
that would
Yeah, absolutely.
work. The
That is an
setting
excellent
works.
call, Jimbo Slice.
very good. I love you.
Yes.
Final thoughts on Extinction.
I just wish it would stop. I need to be done. At this point, let's just do the next one next week and just like get it out of the way. Let's just be done.
I'm on
And like,
Patrick's
let's just get
side.
let's just
Don't.
rip off the Band-Aid.
But
it
then we'll
needs
be
to stop.
done.
It needs to
No, we
stop.
won't. We'll have 3 more. have to spread these out. We had a really good month, so we have to punish ourselves.
We did. I came back just for the shitty one. So
Yeah,
I'll come back in another month
I
for the
believe
next terrible
we
one.
already decided that we're doing Dead Rising.
We
next.
are,
So
absolutely.
we're staying in zombies.
Yep.
Nothing like a sweet July zombie.
Am I wrong
Why
though? Like, does
not?
this need? So like I mean, again, we know the future has been written, so like we know it actually comes after this. But like at some point, let's have a hard reboot. Like I like the idea. I'm actually bummed at 83 this year that was Resident Evil 7. I would have liked that just to be again Resident Evil, start from scratch, not be beholden to the rest of the series.
Especially with all these new options with the VR, especially. I mean, you could just start over and go Resident Evil.
Yes.
If you just called it
Go.
Resident Evil Biohazard or Biohazard
Yes.
Resident Evil,
Yep.
then that's like, oh, this is a new franchise that's bringing them two together. We're starting over.
Totally.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, I think they just did it because they're like, dude, we can make the 7 look really cool.
The logo's dope. Okay, so like, yeah,
That was
whoever
a big
designed
vote.
that,
Yeah.
mad props. I was like,
mean-
yes, I know. It was one of my favorite parts of their conference. Was that,
just like-
yeah, it was
with, like
real good.
before Kitchen and then the 7 and then it's like, what does that mean? That's weird. But if
it's really
if they remake the movie with this new universe, I'd probably be a little bit more atmospheric. We haven't watched Silent Hill yet. We're probably going to do that a little bit closer to the Halloween
Cannot
time.
wait.
I
Yes.
can wait.
I
and we
can
will.
wait.
I
Yep.
can wait.
You can
for
but
that.
cannot.
So
It's a weird dilemma
I
on
mean,
this
it's kind of goes without saying. At the end, we give our verdict whether the video game should have a game over or an extra life. That means, should we let the series end, or do we want to see another iteration? Folks, no. So we got.
I mean, I know we've got them and we're gonna get through them.
Game over.
But you know,
I'm hoping that one of the next movies will go, you know what? I understand why they made 2 more.
Like they're playing a long
hope.
game. You think like
Yeah.
so they just
You just gotta
the
make it
final
through the first
chapter. And you're like,
4.
oh, that setup was unbelievable.
Well, dude, they did that for Fast and the Furious.
I no agreed, and I do not think this is
Nearly.
gonna get there.
I mean, you're
You know
being
what?
really optimistic.
But you know what that means? You know what the Resident Evil franchise needs? The Rock. The Rock fixes every
he does
franchise.
fix everything.
Doom. I mean, he didn't fix Doom.
Well, there was no fixing.
he's in it.
Doom was a perfect movie.
Great point. It
This
was.
was-
My brother did fly across the country to see it again with me.
This
You're right.
also
Totally.
is. That our Doom also was pre-good actor Rock.
I agree.
Right.
I agree. Pre-Ballers Rock. is
Pre-Ballers
what I
Rock.
really
Days
like.
Rock.
Yes.
Yeah, if we're talking about today's
Fixes
talk,
everything.
Walking Tall Rock, the Rundown Rock. Yeah, so I'd
That
say.
was when he was still billed as The Rock. So
Yeah,
know
before
his
he was Dwayne
acting
Johnson.
wasn't that
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's because he was acting as The Rock as the character, so he
Right.
had to get through 2 layers. But yes, I'd
Just a
say.
dude playing another dude acting like the third dude. Whatever. Sorry.
I'd say give this an
It will
extra
be-
life with The Rock, and I'm
Okay.
in.
Oh, all right.
All right.
but
well, with that
decent caveat.
qualifier,
Yeah, why not? Why not? So that's right. That's our show for tonight. Before we
Did
get
it.
going, though, we do want to say we are going to do in 2 weeks, because this show is every 2 weeks. We're going to be doing, why not, Dead Rising. Let's
do it.
We're going to be doing the
Bring
Crackle
on the
movie,
zombies.
Dead Rising. We got Rob Riggle, Harley Morenstein.
Watch it for free. It's on Crackle. You guys
Yeah.
have no excuse. Watch it before you get to this show. Comment along with us.
You don't have to
Time.
waste money on this
No,
one.
I don't.
Look at
I
that.
don't.
It's amazing.
But until that time, where can the folks find you, Stacey?
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Stacey Shuttles, and on Twitter, Instagram, and all over the web at Nerds Doing Stuff.
Fair enough. You find me at Twitter at P to the Dees. I'm also on iTunes. I host a little video game show called Pixel by Pixel. We just did our E3 post-mortem. Talked a little bit about Resident Evil.
Post-mortem.
Yeah. Deep dive. Let's get you on that show.
Yeah,
Let's get you on that show, Mark.
terribly scheduled for me, but yes, maybe we can shoot a satellite one at RTX.
You're damn right.
Because Patrick and I
Yes.
are going to the Rooster Teeth Expo this weekend in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
So if you're going to be in the area and you want to talk E3 or Ruby or Camp or Red vs. Blue or Day 5, Laser Team, whatever, we're going to have 2 panels down at the RTX. We're going to have one on Friday, one on Saturday. Make sure to join us. Follow Patrick, follow me for more info. Follow ABTV Rooster Team on Twitter for all of the info. I'm also doing Jedi Alliance here. I do all the wrestling shows here on our sister network, AfterBuzz TV. So much good stuff. We'll be back to do Dead Rising in 2 weeks. But until then, we will see you at Fake Las Vegas.
Fake Las Vegas.
Fake Vegas.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.